Breaking news! Imagine a scenario where the Pittsburgh Steelers, known for their defensive pedigree and stability in the front office, would entertain a blockbuster trade involving one of their most consistent edge rushers for a dynamic young wide receiver. Sounds impossible, right? But what if I told you that fans are buzzing over an eyebrow-raising suggestion involving Alex Highsmith and Chris Olave? And that's not all. There's talk about Asante Samuel Jr. possibly donning the black and gold, and big questions looming about the Steelers' long-term quarterback plans. But before we go further, make sure you've already hit that like button if you're a true Steelers fan. It's always great to see fans of all generations joining the conversation. If you're in, drop a comment below saying, "Go Steelers." Now let's get into the heart of it. There's a lot of noise coming out of Steelers Nation, and it's centered around a theoretical trade idea that has fans split, shipping off Alex Highsmith in exchange for Saints receiver Chris Olave. This suggestion, sparked by a fan during a Steelers Talk mailbag segment, triggered a flurry of reactions online. On the surface, the logic might seem compelling to some, adding another top-tier receiving threat to a developing offense while clearing future cap space potentially needed to extend TJ Watt. But make no mistake, according to the most credible insider voices around the team, this trade has virtually no legs. Let's break it down. Alex Highsmith isn't just another edge rusher. He's a rare hybrid in today's NFL, a player who can generate pressure, stop the run, and even drop into coverage when needed. He's under contract for multiple seasons, and the Steelers coaching staff absolutely loves his versatility and ability to pair with TJ Watt to form one of the league's most unpredictable and dangerous pass rushing duos. Highsmith isn't just a contributor, he's a foundational piece in a defense that's been retooled to dominate. On the flip side, Chris Olave is undeniably talented, but from everything coming out of New Orleans, the Saints have no interest in parting with him. They've consistently shut down trade inquiries throughout the offseason, and Olave remains a key building block for their offense. The idea that this deal could happen is, in reality, closer to fantasy football speculation than an actual front office discussion. But this mailbag wasn't just about hypotheticals. There was also buzz around the quarterback situation, specifically Will Howard and what his future holds. As a sixth-round pick, Howard enters the league with more questions than answers. And the historical data isn't kind to late-round QBs. Only a rare few like Tom Brady have managed to beat the odds. For Howard, it's not just about surviving training camp, it's about proving he belongs. Yet even if he does, Pittsburgh's front office seems to have an eye toward the 2026 NFL Draft, which just happens to be hosted in the Steel City. Don't be surprised if the Steelers make a major move at quarterback next year. Meanwhile, when it comes to potential secondary additions, the name Asante Samuel Jr. is floating around. But let's be clear, while he'd be a great fit as a slot corner, it's unlikely he'll choose Pittsburgh. With Joey Porter Jr. and Darius Slay expected to lock down the outside, Samuel would have to accept a role that he may not want. He's expressed a desire to start outside, and sources suggest he has several suitors around the league. If anyone is returning to Pittsburgh to fill that slot role, it might actually be former fan favorite Mike Hilton. Then there's the offensive line, which has drawn renewed optimism. With Broderick Jones returning to his natural position at left tackle, expectations are sky high. Add in center Zach Frazier, who's already being talked about as a top 10 center in the NFL, alongside Isaac Sumalo and a healthy Troy Fautanu. And this line could transform from a liability into a legitimate strength. If Jones can tap into his Pro Bowl potential, we could be looking at one of the best lines Pittsburgh has fielded in years. But not everything is rosy in the wide receiver room. Names like Tyler Boyd, DJ Chark, and Michael Thomas were floated as potential adds, but the truth is, none of them are moving the needle anymore. Boyd was underwhelming with the Titans, Chark struggled with consistency, and Thomas has been largely overlooked for over a year. The Steelers seem more content with the youth movement featuring Roman Wilson, Calvin Austin III, and veteran presence like Robert Woods. If anything, if Pittsburgh dips back into the free agent pool, it may be for bigger names like Keenan Allen or Amari Cooper. As for the veteran quarterback speculation, yes, the wildest rumor of all is Aaron Rodgers potentially joining the team. While it's highly unlikely, if Pittsburgh were looking to make a splash, Rodgers would represent the highest ceiling. He's got the arm talent, experience, and playoff pedigree that no other available quarterback can match. It's a long shot, but one that highlights just how uncertain the Steelers' quarterback future remains. So here's the big question we'll leave you with today. What do you think about the idea of trading Alex Highsmith for a player like Chris Olave, even if the odds are against it? Does this kind of bold thinking have any place in Pittsburgh's strategy? Or is keeping Highsmith the right move to maintain a dominant defense? Or maybe the better question is this: how should the Steelers balance maintaining their defensive identity while addressing glaring needs on offense? Because that's really the underlying debate here. On one hand, you've got an elite edge rusher in Alex Highsmith who fits like a glove in Mike Tomlin's defense, providing not just pass rush, but flexibility in disguise coverages and edge containment that few teams can match. On the other hand, there's an undeniable hunger from fans to see more explosiveness and consistency on offense, particularly in the passing game. Chris Olave, while likely untouchable from the Saints' perspective, represents exactly the type of game-breaking talent that could elevate a still-developing receiving core. Yes, the Steelers added Roman Wilson and have George Pickens entering a pivotal year, but if the team truly wants to contend with the elite AFC offenses, think Kansas City, Buffalo, Baltimore, can they realistically do it without a true WR1 caliber receiver to stretch the field and consistently win against top corners? But it's also worth examining the philosophy of this front office. Historically, the Steelers are not a franchise that mortgages defensive talent for offensive firepower. They build methodically. They prioritize continuity, especially in their front seven. And the idea of breaking up the Watt-Highsmith tandem would fly in the face of everything this team has worked to construct over the past 3 seasons. If anything, it's more likely they build through the draft, or look for undervalued assets in free agency, guys like Robert Woods, or perhaps a mid-season trade for a depth receiver who could immediately contribute without disrupting the team's long-term financial picture. Speaking of disruption, let's talk about the cornerback room and why it may already be set, even without a move for Asante Samuel Jr. While fans would love to see the younger Samuel in Pittsburgh, and he certainly fits the Steelers' mold of a physical, high-IQ defensive back, it comes down to role and timing. With Joey Porter Jr. ascending as the future CB1 and Darius Slay brought in to stabilize the other boundary spot, there's simply no room on the outside. Slot corner? That's where it gets tricky. Asante may not be willing to accept a move inside, and that's where a reunion with Mike Hilton starts to make a lot more sense. Hilton knows the system, embraces the slot role, and would instantly bring leadership to a young defensive unit. Now, back to the quarterback situation. Will Howard is a name that keeps popping up, not because he's the answer today, but because fans are curious. Can he be the next late-round miracle? It's a long shot, no doubt. But the Steelers coaching staff is known for developing raw talent, and if Howard can learn behind a veteran this season, the team may just find themselves with a reliable backup or more going into 2026. However, the likelihood remains that the Steelers take a serious swing at a quarterback in next year's draft, which, conveniently, takes place in Pittsburgh. The optics alone of selecting a franchise QB in front of the home crowd would be electric. What about 2025, though? If Rodgers were to become available and somehow express interest in joining Pittsburgh, yes, it's wild speculation, but let's indulge it for a moment. It would be a high-risk, high-reward gamble. Rodgers, even in decline, offers more upside than any other quarterback the team could realistically pursue. So now we want to hear from you. Should the Steelers consider bold trades like the hypothetical Highsmith for Olave deal to jolt the offense, or stay the course with their proven formula? What's the right path forward for Pittsburgh in 2025 and beyond? Let us know your take in the comments below. And if you haven't already, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We've got more exclusive Steelers content on the way. Check out the next video now appearing on your screen.